Today, I want to share a very personal story in the hopes that you realize there is no better time than right now to make the career change that you want or the life change that you envision for yourself. So often we put limits on ourselves, we talk ourselves out of doing something because we're scared or we're unsure. If you are in a job right now that you don't enjoy, but you're thinking, the job market's not that great, I'm going to wait. No, do it right now. If you're thinking you want to go back to school, but the time horizon seems so far till graduation, I don't care. Start right now. Even if you want to get off the career path completely, start thinking about how you can do so right now, because we are not guaranteed tomorrow. We are not guaranteed the opportunity to make the changes that we want in the future, because all we have is this moment. So I challenge you to make the changes in your life, in your career that you want. So this all starts back in 2016. It was December 16th of 2016, actually, and I was pregnant at the time. I was at work. It was 4 p.m. on a Friday, and I had a meeting. Don't know why we had a 4 p.m. meeting, but we did. And I remember that the person I was meeting with was walking towards my office, and my phone rang at the same time. And so I just said, hold on a second. I looked down and it was my OBGYN office. And I had some test results that were coming back. And I picked up the phone just expecting one set of news. And instead, all I heard on the other end was, we got your test results and you need to come to the office right now. And so 4 p.m. on Friday, I am like, well, okay, this must be serious. I called my husband. We get to the doctor's office, get back to the exam room, and we see our baby's heartbeat for the very first time, which would ultimately be the last time. I was told that I needed to be rushed into surgery, that the pregnancy was not viable, and that my life was at risk. And so, I mean, that's a lot to take in. So I sat there and I thought, and I said, okay, can I have the weekend to think about this? And I'll never forget the words that my doctor said. She said, no, you will die. And I don't know how to describe it outside of just saying it was an out-of-body experience. Obviously, we went through the surgery. It was right before Christmas. I remember I didn't understand all the joy coming from everybody because it just seemed so completely counter to what I was feeling. Fast forward, I took the medical time off that I needed, which did not even touch emotionally and mentally what I was going through, but physically I was cleared to return to work. So I did. And I just remember being in a fog. And I thought to myself, okay, I have to be here. I'm doing my work. But in the back of my mind, I thought, all of this just happened. How is this even important? How is what I am doing important? It's not. And I thought to myself, I don't want to be here. And that just started a spiral of thinking of like, I could have died, and I'm sitting in a job I don't like, doing something I don't enjoy. But, life with its medical expenses and such, I kept doing what I was doing. And then everything kind of came to an head when I was at a conference a few months later in Seattle. And I had just gone through another failed fertility treatment where I found out I had a early miscarriage. And I was walking and looking at everybody, and everybody's so engrossed talking about all these HR initiatives. And I was just like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? This isn't what I want. This isn't what I saw myself doing when I was younger, but I had found myself on this path and it was just easier. And my mind kept going back to, you'll die if you don't do this. And I thought, how can I reconcile I could have died to my life is now doing this hamster wheel of a career? I really struggled because I knew responsibility wise with medical insurance and a paycheck, that was the right thing to do, but I couldn't keep existing like that. So I ultimately made the decision to step back from that career, and it coincided with the timing of our son the following year. And at that point, I thought to myself, okay, what am I going to do? What is going to light me up. And it was almost like this path of rediscovery. I started working for another company, and then I started working at another company, and then I started freelance writing, and then I started doing just different things. And that was the moment I was like, holy smokes, is this what it feels like to feel alive again, to not feel dead inside when you have to go to work? And when I was able to separate myself enough from HR, I realized all the aspects that I enjoyed. I love working with people and I love helping them with their problems, especially when somebody would come to me and ask me a question about like a leave or any type of problem solving that we could think and say, okay, how do we get from point A to point Z? And the other part I loved was facilitating and training. And I then was like, how do I take these aspects and make them into a career while leaving all of the other stuff behind, the firings, the performance improvement plans, the workers' comp lies and scams. And when I was able to have a step back, and maybe that's what you need a step back from all that you are doing to be able to see that maybe it's not necessarily a complete wash. Maybe there are aspects that you like and that you can transfer them into other roles. Or maybe for you, it is completely a new slate. But knowing that you do have the option. I'm not saying the option's easy, because it's generally not easy. You might have to keep the job you don't like while you go to school at nights. You might have to keep working at a company you don't want to while looking for another job, but everything is doable. Everything is figure outable. And I do not want you to wait for that perfect moment. I don't want you to wait for that time in the future that might not come, and it generally won't, because when you're looking for the perfect time for all the stars to align, we all know that that doesn't really ever happen. Instead of giving yourself excuses, give yourself reasons. Give yourself reasons why you should make the change, why you should do it now. And the biggest one is because you owe it to yourself. You owe it to your future self to set yourself up for success. So in 5 years, 10 years time, whatever the time horizon looks like, you can look back and say, thank you. Thank you for doing that hard thing then, because I'm so much happier now. And like I said earlier, I don't want you to have a life-defining moment like I did. That's not what I wish for anybody. Maybe this video is that for you, or maybe it's just realizing that you want to go outside and literally smell the roses on a Wednesday, but you can't because you're in an office. Whatever it is for you, I pray and I hope that you find it now rather than later. All right, until the next video.